So I'm here, I'll share my screen so we're not just looking at the OBS icon. I'm here with my brother, Sus Seaweed as well. He's gonna be driving for me.
So I'm a better driver.
He's a better driver. That's actually correct. He is a better driver. So Night Run is a art project that includes a game that we're working on now and that we're getting ready to launch the NFT mint for in about 2 weeks on January 27th. And I'll just give a quick scroll down the website. So we're going to deploy the game to Steam. Basically, what we're going to do is there's an interface in the game where people can configure what artworks are shown in this generative city that you're driving through. So you can see some pieces from Heaven Computer and also nouns here. And that's the kind of prerogative of the token holders. So token holders can kind of configure parts of the city that are seen by everybody when they're driving here. Actually, I'll have Tom play the game while I'm talking. It's more interesting. I can go back to the website to show some of the token art. So the game is built in Unity, which is a real-time game engine. And so it's this kind of nighttime, moody city with this kind of weird sort of Blame-inspired, anime architecture. And as you can see, we have these kind of artworks that are appearing on billboards. These are two pieces from our two previous projects, Hypercastle Explorers on the left and The Idea Becomes a Machine on the right. Here's another piece from Hypercastle Explorers. And then here's in the background, you can see animated and super tall, a piece from Godman's Heaven Computer collection. And so for some pieces so far, like Hypercastle and Idea Machine, we just see the images on billboards. But for something like for something like Turbo Wrecked, for something like Heaven Computer, where there are 3D assets in the production pipeline, we actually reached out to Godman, got her to share these kind of super glitched out FBX animated models that she created, and made some custom shaders and stuff to implement them into the game. So for some of the collections that are in the project where there's kind of a interesting way to do that, we're doing these kind of more sculptural type integrations. And I actually wanted to show you, there's a video on Twitter that you can see, but I wanted to show you the one that we did for Terraforms by Math Castles, but for some reason it's broken. So in the true Def spirit of things with bugs, I can't show it because it's not working. But we used the Hypercastle Explorers Unity open source SDK that we created for Terraforms last year. We did an NFT drop and we used that to fund the development of a Unity SDK and also a little Explorer application that lets you travel around the Terraforms hyperstructure in 3D. So then that allowed us to build that into the game. Actually, here, I'll just show a quick video of that. Pause Tom's driving for a second, because I think I have it on here. Just so you can kind of see, because it's kind of cool. And it's something else for me to talk over. And, this is kind of the work that we're doing in our studio, is this kind of mix of bringing together this is actually the raw footage, so you're going to see crashing and stuff, which is kind of funny. This is not the edited one, but that's actually probably better. So this is kind of like the work that we're doing in our studio, 1000 Amp, which is me, Tom, and Josh Vaughn, who's also here on the call, and there's another Def member. Some of you guys have met at the demo day in New York. And we're coming from a game development background, relatively new to the Web3 space. This will be our third project. And this is probably I would say our most ambitious project, where we're building this game. We're, funding the production through this kind of NFT mechanism, giving this kind of, we're not trying to do the full kind of utility meta thing, but giving this kind of small in-game utility to holders, hopefully this kind of interesting interactive curation layer to it. And then, putting it on Steam for totally free, no ads, no microtransactions, which is hopefully a kind of like a win-win experience for the traditional gaming audience. The marketing for Steam and for gamers is very not Web3 forward, right? We're not trying to be like, it's an NFT game, we're just positioning it as this like weird art game, art experience, kind of chill, meditative driving experience. But obviously for people who play it and get into it, or if anyone plays it and gets into it, they might be interested to, check out some of these artworks and stuff. And obviously for folks who are in the Web3 community, it's kind of fun to see, to see pieces in game. And let me skip ahead. We can see a little less crashing. There's like some better, there's some more crashing, but you can see some better footage. And we've been doing this thing now where we just announced that we're going to have CryptoPunks in the game. We announced terraforms, we announced cryptodes, and we're like going out on Twitter and asking people, especially for punks and terraforms, because they have this kind of like holder focused license. We're asking folks to volunteer to put their tokens, their pieces that they own in the game, which has gotten like a good response, and people seem excited and into that, the idea of their tokens being shown off. So it seems like something that people are into. It's obviously super experimental, idea on many levels, kind of business model wise, technically, aesthetically, but so far so good. I was kind of clenching my butt cheeks a little bit because the market has been so bad and we're getting ready to mint in 2 weeks, but there's some like little green shoots of spring popping up. So hopefully it's all going to go well. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Anything I missed? And we're making devlog videos. We just released actually the 8th video in the series on our YouTube channel. I can put a link to that in the chat, but there's like, videos where we're kind of talking about, I'll show a little bit of the token art as well, where we're talking about the production process and the creative process. So there's these, the token art is going to be made up of these 4 imaginary fashion houses, and these are all generated with a mix of text to image generation, and then also some P5.js generative stuff, which actually these images don't show because they're a little older. I got to show the newer ones. But they're separated into these kind of 4 imaginary fashion houses. And the idea is that like, this is kind of like in the deep future, all the humans have vanished. And there's this city that's kind of controlled by these 4 AIs who they've been alone for so long that they've gotten like really strange. And they're just like making these strange images to put onto billboards and kind of communicate with the humans that way. So it's been a fun project so far. We're just finishing the art. The game will come out like maybe a month or 2 after the mint. We've got like a good amount built, but we still have to build a bunch of other pieces. Actually, when we showed, somebody saying something. Go ahead.
It's me. Don't cut the runway too short.
Oh yeah. Don't over promise the schedule. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the basics. And we've got a Discord, we've got Twitter. So you can, follow and join those, if you've got questions or whatever. We did do an allow list for Def, actually courtesy of the new Def membership NFTs, which was awesome. Be able to use that with our pre-mint, and we shared that, I think in the NFT channel. I think there's still some spots on there if folks want to jump in. The price is going to be under 0.1. We haven't actually announced the price for the mint yet, because we're kind of just waiting to see if there's like another like extinction level event right before the mint. We don't want to be locked into a price. So we're just keeping light on our feet, but it'll be under 0.1 somewhere, and we'll announce it like in a week or 2. So yeah, that's the basics. And thanks a lot for having us. I'll take questions if there are any. Stop sharing my screen so I can look at Discord.
There's a question earlier up if there's any competitive element or if it's just pure experience, for example, like a leaderboard or distance or anything.
That's it. So there is actually like a scoring model in there where it's the further you go, the faster you drive. There is actually a score, and that's kind of like it's super minimalistic in terms of gameplay. But yeah, I would like to do a leaderboard. We haven't like announced that we're doing that yet. I want to kind of get the like core stuff that we've planned out first, but I think it could be really cool and definitely things that will allow people to, it's this kind of like massively single player type experience, right, where you're like seeing the curated choices of the other players. So a leaderboard would be like a nice addition to that. And I've got this whole weird thing I want to do where you can like look at artworks and like press like if anybody played Death Stranding, it had like the like gun where you can like things. So you can like actually turn your head in the game and like things. So you could have like a leaderboard of liked artworks and stuff. There could be some fun stuff with that, but for now we're like keeping it simple. And yeah, with regard to like Danube is talking about the speed. We've got the bike controllers, like a physics-based model, and it's a lot better than the old one we had. But we're still refining it. It's still like got a little jerkiness to it and whatever, and we're gonna get it. It's still not like perfect to drive, and that's one of the things we're gonna refine before we ship for sure. Yeah. Cool. All right. I think that's, anybody else have a question? A max speed leaderboard. Yeah, that would be cool. That's a good idea, actually. Who can get the fastest? Yeah. That's a good idea. I think a lot of that kind of data stuff could be really fun, right? Just like data ephemera. And I do want to have some stuff where there's like little unlocks, like little modes that unlock. There will be a little minimalist like meta game around it that you get for playing, right? So it's not just like, it is a game, right? It's not just like a pure like walking simulator on wheels. Sheep Roy Jenkins asking if we're going to sell billboard space to other projects. I mean, this is where I turn from being like a serious artist to like a total NFT degen. We've been talking to other projects. We're trying to get some money out of Nouns and Cryptodes. They both have treasuries that they allocate projects for. And I wanted to have Nouns and Cryptodes in the game anyway, because there's a CC0 element to this, which I think is cool, right? Being able to put these CC0 works in the game permissionlessly is a cool thing. And they're just works that I like, right? I like Nouns and Toads, mainly because of Gremplin, right? And then Blip Maps also, I know there's a bunch of Def Blip Maps fans. We are going to put Blip Maps in the game, because they're CC0. And actually Chris from SUP gave me some of their 3D models that they haven't released publicly yet. And so I'm going to get them. We're going to do something. I gotta put it together and do like a little video for the announce. And then, in terms of like putting other stuff in, yeah, OKPC would also be dope. Putting other stuff in the game. I mean, we've been going around like this thing with Toads, I think might go through. I mean, this is the thing. It's not zero work to put these things in the game. And it also affects download size, right? Which is a key thing for like adoption, right? And new users, right? If they look at it and they're like, oh, this weird art game that I only kind of am interested to check out is like 25 gigabytes, like no thanks, right? So that is a limitation, right? We're trying to be smart about that. But I would like to put in some other projects and, maybe, I mean, there's certain, like I'll never put apes in there, right? There's certain projects that will never be in there just for like aesthetic reasons. But, other projects that are cool, that fit the aesthetic, and maybe if people have treasury money to contribute to help offset the implementation costs, it's definitely conversations we would have. It's not gonna be like a public open offer, like, sure, whatever, put your terrible project in our game, right? But I mean, we're talking to a bunch of other people now still. There's projects we haven't announced yet. Some of which are really cool. So, you know, there's gonna be other stuff in there for sure. Yeah, it's 2.5 gigs now without that much stuff in there, right? So it's gonna get heavier. Apes aren't cool. Nah, apes aren't cool. Not to me. Sorry, any ape holders. Yeah. Yeah, Manny's. It's funny. I kind of, Manny's are like we're on my list. I actually really would like to have Manny's in there. Having a floating naked man, I don't know. I don't know what the vibe is on that, you know? Yeah, the Manny tunnel. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. That's like, I would say that's like a borderline case where it's like, I kind of want to do it just like for the culture, right? But it's maybe also a little weird. Manny and his undies. Yeah, actually, Def. I'd love to get some Def in there. That's a good idea. Definitely. Yeah, no, Manny's for the culture for sure. I know. This is the thing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I want to put in there. I got to kind of like prioritize, and you know, we put punks in, which I was kind of like on the fence about. If just because of like it's such a big aesthetic signifier, but actually once we put them in, I really like the way they look. And then the chat goes wild for Manny's. I shouldn't have said anything. No promises, guys. Get Manny's to get their treasury up. Send me 100 ETH and then it's a go. Yeah, I wasn't sure about putting punks in there, and then I put it in, I liked it, and then the punks holders have all been really cool and excited about it, so that's been cool, you know. So it's an interesting one, the way it interacts with different projects and communities, and also like what kind of signal that sends. Gods too. Hell yeah. Yeah, I know I said Manny. I shouldn't have said it. Somebody put it in the chat. I shouldn't have said it. God damn it. See, this is why we got to keep these meetings private. This is why it's gotta be deaf ears only. Yeah, exactly. Feature creep. We just got to get this thing out, man. I'm stressing. We got like 2 weeks just to get the mint out. I'm stressing. Then we got to make the game. Like, it's a lot. We're like, definitely, this is like effort posting here. We're going for it. So yeah, exactly. Peer pressure is a business. Play to peer pressure. Pudgy penguins. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks so much, y'all, for having us back to demo. It's cool to be able to show the production version after showing the prototype version at Union Square. So we are actually working over here, believe it or not. Things are happening. So yeah. Cool.
So
Thanks,
cool.
y'all.